Good morning, everybody. Matt Modi here with OddsJam. In this video, giving you my favorite college basketball bet for today. A very sharp college basketball bet today, Tuesday, December 13th. So the bet, of course, was found using OddsJam, using the positive expected value page, using OddsJam, giving yourself an edge over the sports books that you're placing the bet with. Of course, not every single bet is going to hit, even if every single bet you place is mathematically profitable, which would be the case if you're placing every single positive EV bet you see on the screen. You're still not going to win every single bet, as you can see. And this is just my bet history pulled from the OddsJam bet tracker. So you can see the ebbs and flows, right? As I was starting off, wasn't risking a ton, was being very, very safe with my bets. Had some success. As I upped my unit size, we see higher highs, and then we see some lower lows. High highs, low lows. These things happen with sports betting. So even if the bet that you place has a ton of value, it's a really, really good bet. Unfortunately, you're not going to win every single one. I have had the most success specifically with basketball. So that definitely is my highest ROI by a wide margin. Still doesn't mean we're going to hit every single bet. So just something to keep in mind when you're positive expected value betting. You're going to have cold streaks. Like as you can see, I had a stretch where I just could not win anything. 5 out of 6 weeks were down, and down a lot, not just down, but down a lot. So just keep in mind, like I said, that cold streaks happen. When you're in the middle of a hot streak, you'll think you'll never lose a bet again. When you're in the middle of a cold streak, you think that you're just the dumbest person that's ever lived. I understand it. I've lived through it. You just have to kind of take the ebbs and flows of sports betting and understand that if you're using the proper positive EV betting strategies, then it will work out in the long run. You just might have to struggle through some variance, which is never fun. So specifically, the bet that I'm going to go ahead and lock in here today is in the Green Bay versus St. Thomas, Minnesota game, the rivalry game, the huge college basketball game that everybody's looking forward to tonight. Taking this game to go under 138.5 at minus 110 odds. You can get that at DraftKings, and you can get that at Maryland. So a couple things to keep in mind here, or I guess not to keep in mind, to look out for when you're positive EV betting. The first thing, these no vig odds here. So you don't actually need to do anything with these no vig odds. It's just important to understand what they mean, where they come from, and that's hopefully I will help you understand why positive EV betting is so valuable. And these numbers, the no vig odds, are pulled from the sharpest sports books in the world. So OddsJam back tested thousands and thousands of betting opportunities, just trying to come up with, okay, what sports books historically do the best job at pricing odds, right? They back tested all these betting opportunities, collected millions of data points to make that determination. Once they did, they said, okay, for these sports, these are the sharpest, right? And it's different per sport, and it's also given a weighted average per sports book. So if two are good, one's better than the other, one of them will have a higher weight as well. So then they collect all that data and then basically use that to set the markets for future betting opportunities, saying, hey, okay, over the course of time, historically, these X amount of sports books do the best job at pricing odds. So we're going to use them to set the markets for betting opportunities moving forward. The important thing is to remove the VIG from these sports books. Make sure that you are getting the true line of what a market should truly be priced at. So like we see minus 110 odds each way. If you think about that, you have to risk $110 to profit 100 on both the over and the under. So if someone tries to win $100 on each side, the sportsbook, no matter what, is going to profit $10 from those two sports bettors. The winner will get paid out $210. They'll get their profit of 100 plus their risk of 110 back. But the sportsbook collects $220, the 110 risk from each sports bettor. So no matter what, they're profiting $10. But if you just look at this minus 110 versus the over, minus 110 versus the under, this is DraftKings and PointsBet telling you that they think it's a 50-50 outcome. They're not favoring one side over the other, right? They don't say, hey, we think the over is more likely or the under. We think it's even. But look at the other two sports books that are pricing this over-under. BetRivers is heavily favoring it going under. Pinnacle, heavily favoring it going under. So these two sports books think that the under 138.5 is the significantly more likely scenario. So they're making it very expensive to buy the under. And Pinnacle is obviously is an important one to look out for because Pinnacle is the sharpest sports book in the world. So given the heaviest weight based on what Pinnacle says. But then what you want to do is view this event page in a new tab, which is exactly what I have up here. So I'm actually going to zoom out a little bit so you can see everything. And there's a weird issue going on with the 137.5, but what you need to understand is PointsBet and DraftKings are pricing this total at 138.5. Every other sports book that is pricing this total has it below this number. We see 137.5 on BetMGM, Caesars, FanDuel, and Betfred. We also see 137.5 at Bookmaker right here. And this is important. Bookmaker, along with Pinnacle, which is this column right here, is another very sharp sports book. Does a very good job at pricing odds. So when you're looking at main lines such as this, you want to look at Pinnacle, which actually prices this at 136.5, so 2 full points lower. Bookmaker, which I mentioned, has it at 137.5, and BetOnline, which has it at 137. And we also see BetRivers have it as low as 136.5 as well. So basically, every single sports book, aside from DraftKings and PointsBet, that are pricing this total, think it is at minimum should be priced a full point lower, excuse me, than when we got it at, or in some cases 2 full points lower than what we got it at, which doesn't sound like a big deal, beating the closing line by 1 point or 2 points. But if you're doing that over the course of 1,000 bets, then it becomes a huge deal. So this is my sharp college basketball bet for today with all the logic behind it. Hopefully that all made sense. If not, feel free to reach out, comment on the video with any questions, or you can email us, contact@oddsjam.com. Send us any questions. Other than that, would appreciate it if you could like the video, subscribe to the OddsJam YouTube channel. Helps me out a ton. And that's it. So enjoy the games tonight and have a good one.